Spirit, we are open and receptive now to your presence in each of us and all of us together. And we give thanks that this time is fruitful to bless us, to enlighten our minds, to fill our hearts with hope and encouragement and comfort. And so we go into this class with a sense of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. Thank you, God. Amen.
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 Amen. I want to introduce Neil. Neil? Neil, are you there? There you are. Neil, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the folks.
Surely. I'm Reverend Neil Worthington. I am minister at Unity of Payson, not so very far from you. And Reverend Sharon has invited me to stop in at the class today, and I'm appreciative of that. I'm a licensed Unity minister working on ordination, and this is also a bit of an assignment for me to find out a little bit about other churches and visit them, even though it must be done virtually.
Great. Glad you're here, Neil. Thank you for joining us today. I have a couple of, here's where we'll go. I have a couple of quotes to just spark some conversation maybe. And then I would like for all of us, because the energy of gratitude is so very powerful, for everyone to just share one thing you're grateful for today, one thing. And then we'll jump into the study guide. And the study guide is covering, as you see, chapters 18 through 20. So first quote, and this is from Charles Fillmore's book, Prosperity, which happens to be my favorite book that he's written. I think sometimes his writing is, it was a writing for the time, the mid 1900s, late 1800s, early 19 and mid 1900s. And so the languaging is a little arcane. I think it's easiest to understand in his book, Prosperity. So here's something that he said. The kingdom of heaven is like a net that was cast into the seas and gathered fish of every kind. The mind of man is like the net, catching every kind of idea. And it is our privilege and responsibility under divine law to separate those that are good from those that are not. What do you think about that? Did you all have your breakfast?
The last, this is Kathy, the last sentence you just said that separates those who are good from those who are not, just kind of made me cringe because it sounds so judgmental.
Oh, well, let's see if I can think about another way to say it, Kat. He's talking about ideas. So I might say, if you want to be happy, you're going to want to separate and let go of thoughts that are life diminishing, joy diminishing, happiness diminishing. Let go of those ideas and hold on to the ones that energize you and give you a sense of vitality and well-being, give you a sense of hope, joy. So
That way I love it.
yeah. So I love the metaphor, you know, that our minds are like one of those gigantic nets that fishermen throw into the sea, and it pulls out whatever it pulls out. And our mind does the same dang thing. It pulls out whatever's out there in the ethers, or whatever's in our subconscious mind, whatever's in our unconscious mind. It just pulls it all in. And it's our job to be alert, awake, and ready, and noticing, aha, this thought I don't want to hang on to because I don't like it. It doesn't taste good. It tastes yucky, bitter, sour, whatever. And so I let it go, and tell me, which power is it that we're going to use to let it go?
Release. Renunciation, yeah.
Sharon, I accidentally muted you. You have to unmute yourself. I thought I was unmuting myself and I muted you. Do you want me to come and do it for you? I'll come do it.
It was the fishnet. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, so
I muted you by accident. I meant to unmute myself.
at what point did you mute me?
Right when I said that to you.
Oh, okay. So you guys heard everything I said about
Oh, you unmuted yourself?
about fishnet? Did you all got that, right? Fishnet and good ideas and not so good. Okay. And that our mind is like that. And did you get Maria's response to my question? Which power would that be that we would need in order to let go of bitter fish?
Release.
Release. That's right. That's right. Exactly. And by the law of spiritual dynamics and physics and electromagnetics, you know, when we let something go from our thoughts, we've just created a vacuum in our consciousness. So tell me what we would use to fill that vacuum.
I would say love.
We could. What about it? What about love?
Well, for me, it works when I start to think negative thoughts. I immediately try to change that thought into something more loving. If it's a person, I see that person in a loving way and project the good thoughts about them towards me, rather than see them in a negative way and start thinking negativity towards them.
Great. So what Maria was saying is, in answer to the question, whenever we let something go from our thoughts, we have just created a vacuum. And the vacuum, if we don't fill it with something we want, something tasty, then I promise you, you'll get another fish just like the one you let go of. So Maria was saying, well, I would fill the vacuum with love, an idea of love. We could fill the vacuum with love, with the thought of life, what gives me life, almost anything positive. And as we do that, we're using the power of faith, because faith, in addition to other aspects of it, is the idea of direction. So we have the responsibility and the capacity is important, to direct our thoughts any place we want them to go. The challenge is always they go places where, like my puppy, that puppy goes places where I wouldn't want it to go. Our minds are like that. They go every which way. And so our responsibility and capacity is to, through the power of faith, direct our thoughts where we want them to go, thus giving them power, the power of faith. So what we give our faith to expands. It expands. So after letting go of a thought, it is so important to fill the vacuum with something positive. Maria said love. Could be anything positive. Loving thoughts are always the best, though, aren't they?
They're the ones that work for me.
That's like chocolate.
Yes.
It's like dark chocolate to the system. Or for me, it would be ice cream. It would be mint chocolate chip ice cream. Okay, any other comments about that metaphor, the fishnet metaphor? Okay, unmuted.
I'm sorry, you're in the wrong spot today. Yeah, what I like about that metaphor, not the fishnet metaphor, well, maybe that, but just the creating a vacuum. And so when we release, we need to replace it with something positive. And for me, that has answered something that's troubled me in the Bible forever. And that's when Jesus talks about when he took the evil spirit out of the kid who kept on throwing himself in the fire. And he said, but you have to be careful because once he's empty, 12 more or a dozen more, or whatever the words are, will come back in and make it worse than ever. And I always was bothered by that, is what does that mean? And now it makes sense to me finally after 60 years.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, and there is another story in there, and Jim, I can't remember, Jim R. I can't remember which passage it's from or which gospel it's from, but it's of a householder who wanted to go shopping and cleaned up his house and left and found that when he came back, the same mess that was there, the same demons, I think it might be the similar story, the same demons that were there came back again because he left. In other words, you and I went out of awareness. We went unconscious for a moment. We let go of the thought and didn't refocus with intentionality. And by God, those negative thoughts came back again. Especially when we're going through something difficult. At least that's my experience. Going through something difficult, it takes great diligence. At least it took a great deal of diligence for me when I'm experiencing a loss, when something's happened that really upsets me, when my feelings have been hurt, any of those human kinds of things that happen. It takes great diligence to not allow those kinds of fish to get back into my mind, because my mind, and tell me I'm not the only one here, my mind wants to figure it out and fix it on my own. And that's not the best approach. The best approach is to use a spiritual power, turn to spirit. So anything else on the fishnets? Okay, then. What? Well, I think I've been maybe talking too much. Let's see. Okay, how about let's go to one thing you're grateful for. And let's start with you, Betty.
Okay, I'm grateful for my family and friends, especially during the past 2 weeks because of the tragedy in the family, but especially on Thanksgiving when we had a Zoom that reached from California, family in California, to Maine, to New York State, to New Jersey, to Pennsylvania, to England, and to Ireland. So
Wow.
I'm so thankful for that because I do feel isolated out here now. None of those folks are within reach, but that day we could see everybody with the kids and the little kids, and I'm so thankful for that.
Oh, what a beautiful thing. Yay. Thank you. Kath?
I didn't mute you. Yay. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for pets. I'm grateful for Cleo and Marquina and Cameo and all the little domestic animals who bring us joy and company, especially right now. We were talking about it yesterday, how pets are really important when people are so isolated. And so I just think that we're so blessed that there are these little babies who come to entertain us and love us.
Thank you. Jim R., what are you grateful for, Jim? One thing. I can't hear him. Jim, I can't hear you. Did you unmute?
Jim's not on mute. He's not muted, but his mic's not picking him up.
I know.
It's
The
on
mic
your.
is just- Oh, not yet. I'll come back, Jim. Now you're muted again. Be sure your mic is on, Jim. Alva, you want to share something you're grateful for? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Alva.
Yeah.
There.
I'm grateful for my life, health. I'm grateful. It's at the end of the year and getting past the holidays. I'm kind of slow this time of year. I don't feel, it's a family thing. And right now being isolated, it's kind of, so I'm grateful I've got my laptop. I'm pretty grateful.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Alva. I'm glad you're here today. Glad
Thank
you're
you.
doing this. Jim, you got it yet? No. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for a chat box up here. I don't see a chat box. Oh yeah. Do you have a chat box, Jim? There's a chat box. You can write your gratitude in there. Okay, Neil, something you're grateful for? Unmute.
Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful for the members of my spiritual community here at Unity of Payson. We have a number of people who have had some out of the ordinary needs, and the community has gathered around to find ways to support them during that time. And that's been a real blessing to me to see the community come around and support at this time.
Yes, it is. Beautiful thing to see. Thank you. Susie?
Okay, I unmuted. I am very grateful for this wonderful book. Thank you for writing it.
Oh, thanks, Susie.
Thank you.
And Sam?
Yes, Shirley. I'm grateful that after 3 years, our oldest daughter made an effort to talk to us.
Oh, wow. What a great thing. Yes.
Yes.
I think it's because of your spiritual work. That's what I think. I think you have become a magnet.
I hope so. I hope it continues to work.
Yes, we do too. Oh, there's my Jody. One thing you're grateful for, Jody.
Well, some of the others have mentioned this too, but I am very grateful for the internet and the communication that keeps us connected to our family. In the last 4 days, I've had 4 family members come down with COVID, and there were many others that have been exposed to the ones that have come down with it so far. So I'm in touch with my family through this type of communication, and I am so grateful for it, because I would be going truly, I don't know, even as beautifully spiritual as I am, staying on that path, I don't know what I would do without the knowing how they are and hearing from them every day. So and this class is another example of my being very grateful for the communication where we can all stay together, connected.
Yeah, thanks, Jody. So true. Thank you. Sandy, something you're grateful for?
I am just excited and grateful for the middle of the night stirrings and guidance from spirit. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to get up and either start writing or understanding things or reading or something, but those middle of the night stirrings. And I know Wayne Dyer always said to follow Rumi and say, 3 o'clock when you're woken up, don't go back to bed. Get up, hear what spirit is saying to you, digest it, and then go back to bed. And that happened last night. And I'm just ever so grateful, because it puts everything in perspective that you're kind of muddling with. And it's just that I'm so grateful for those nudges and those spirit connections in the middle of the night.
Great. Thank you for that. We can all pay attention. I don't know about getting up and writing it all down, though, Sandy. 3 in the morning. Sig, what are you grateful for today? Unmute, Siggy.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay. I am so grateful for technology. It helps me stay in touch with my friends, and I almost every day I learn something new that I can accomplish through technology.
Wow, how fabulous. Thank you. And Carol, the Carol and Bill team? Unmute yourself, Carol. There you go.
I'm very grateful for.
I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Is that better?
A little better.
Let me see if I can. I don't know. The mic is on.
A little louder.
Okay. I am very grateful for where this book and this class had led me, because I have just been consumed with busy work and busyness, and I have started making time again for spiritual time, and I've been reading and watching videos and listening to affirmations and guided imagery, and I just bought my granddaughter, on your suggestion, The Untethered Soul for Christmas, and so I'm kind of rereading that so I can talk to her about it. So I'm just grateful for all of that.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Hey, Bill.
I am grateful for something we all take for granted. In our case, a refrigerator.
A what?
Been on the blink about
a refrigerator.
3 months ago. We couldn't get water out of it, so the part has been ordered for 3 months. It was supposed to be in last week, and our gracious facilities department said, we are going to order you a new refrigerator.
Well, if the part hasn't been shipped,
yeah,
they will order a new refrigerator for us.
It is the little things, huh?
Yeah.
That we can take for granted. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see who I haven't heard from. Oh, Eileen and Judy. Eileen, hey, you came in after I already announced this, but for those of you who came in a little later, Eileen created this for our 12 powers, available in the bookstore. It's very cool, lists all of the 12 with their color vibration purpose, that is what they do, and the body location. Thank you, Eileen.
You're so welcome. And thanks for UPS for having the facility to be able to make those.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time and energy to do it. So one thing you're grateful for, Eileen?
I'm especially grateful this time of year because it was my mother's birthday, or would have been on Sunday. She would have been 99 years old. And I'm so grateful for the example that she set for me in teaching me to share with others my abundance.
Say the last one again.
Share with others my abundance.
Oh, right. And what is your affirmation? Remind us.
I always have everything I need when I need it.
Yes, I love it. Judy, one thing you're grateful for?
It's hard to pick one, but this is kind of a hard time of year from past circumstances in the family. However, this year I have gotten in touch with all of my kids and my siblings, and it's been just wonderful. So
thanks. Great. Okay, now I don't think I covered my two ladies here. Maria, one thing you're grateful for, loud and clear.
Okay, I am grateful for the bond that both my sisters and my brother have.
Oh, very cool. If you didn't hear, she said she's grateful for the bonds her sisters and brother have with her. Great, thank you. And Linda?
I am grateful for the opportunity I recently had to delightful little puppy.
That would be my Cleo. And Cleo fell in love with you. Yeah. Okay, did I cover everyone? Did y'all get a chance to share something you're grateful for? I think I did. Jim, are you turned back on? I mean, I know you're always turned on, Jim, but is your mic working? No. Oh, there's Cleo. Yeah, there's my Cleo. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, let's go to the study guide. And there are a couple of quotes at the very top of the page. So I want to share those and see if you have any comments there. So would, Neil, why don't you read the first one for us? Would you do that?
Surely. Purpose is the reason you journey. Passion is the fire that lights the way.
Yeah. Purpose is the reason you journey, and passion is the fire that lights your way. What do you see about that for yourself?
Are you asking the group or me?
I'm asking everybody, and anybody can comment. You want to say something, Neil?
I'll muse on it for a minute and let somebody else respond.
All right. Anyone else want to respond on purpose is the reason you journey?
I'll respond.
Yes.
In 1997, I came for the very first time to Arizona. I don't know if I've said this before or not. And it was very desert-like, but I fell in love with it. And I made it my goal, and I made it my vision to move here. And then in 2005, that vision finally came to fruition. I think it was fruition.
Fruition, you got it.
And everything just fell right into place from the moment I made the decision to move here with my husband. We both decided on it together. We came and stayed for a couple of weeks. We looked around where we wanted to stay. We managed to rent the house. We went back. Everything was just like perfect.
Great.
And
That's a perfect explanation, I think, of the word journey, and also spoke to the power of a passion that opens doors to the fulfillment of what you perceive as your next right step or purpose along the journey. Yeah, I don't know if you all heard Maria. Did you all hear her? It's kind of hard because she was speaking anyway. Anyway, what she was saying is, you moved from Mexico, is that right?
No, New York.
Oh, New York. Oh my God. So she and her husband moved from New York, and but first they visited. She fell in love with it, went back home. She and her husband decided they wanted to make the move. I want you to just run this alongside your own journey within the great journey of our lifetime here. We take little journeys to hopefully to fulfill the great purpose for our lives. So next they came to visit for a couple weeks. Next they looked for homes, and then the move was made. But she was saying everything fell into place. And the point I want to make is it was one step at a time, like follow the breadcrumbs. And Sandy was speaking to that with waking up in the middle of the night with this intuitive guide for herself on her journey. So two things. One is there's always a purpose that is a part of our grand purpose for taking life. And sometimes it's hard to discern that, what's the next step on this journey, but it's there somewhere in here. And what we feel passionate about I have always thought, or come to the conclusion after reflection, that passion is so powerful. And that's tell me which power I'm talking about right now. What power am I talking about when I talk about passion?
Would it be zeal?
Yes, yes, the power of zeal. It gets us moving. We also need the power of power, because that's like putting, pressing the button to start the engine of the car. But the zeal is the passion, the enthusiasm that gives us the perseverance, the endurance to pursue what we are guided to do next. Let's go to the second. Any other comments on that one? And then we'll go to the second quote. Okie dokie then. All right. Jody, would you read the second quote for us, please?
A disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering.
That's a big one, huh?
That's a really good one. I love that. And that's what I practice. And when I'm on target, it works so beautifully. And so it's just about my own practice. And I love it when it's all getting better.
Amen. Yeah. A disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. Said by the Dalai Lama in his book, The Art of Happiness. So thanks, Jody. Any other comments on that quote? No. I used to hate the word discipline because I went to Catholic schools, and the nuns could be a little rough. And so my what's the word I'm looking for? My take on the word discipline was unpleasant, but the word discipline is from the word disciple. So what am I a disciple of? And a disciplined mind leads to happiness. And the presumption is I discipline my mind to think life-enhancing, loving thoughts, for example. When I don't discipline my mind, it goes bonkers, and then I can get into my fishnet brings in stuff that is very not tasty. And we see that a lot out there today. If you look around, what's going on, what has been going on with, not only the virus, but other things as well, social justice, injustice. So an undisciplined mind starts grabbing very untasty fish and unhelpful, unlife-giving fish, because that's the nature of our mind. We live because we've taken life, we've manifest ourselves as something out of the idea of God. We live in a world of polarity, not just in the world where it's night and day, right and wrong, black and white. You could think of a lot of polarities, right? We live in a world of polarity, and the consciousness is like that as well. Pick a happy thought or an unhappy thought, take your pick. It's where we put our focus. It's the discipline of focusing our mind. Okay, well, any comments there? Huh?
Every morning I wake up, I turn on the happy song.
Ah, you do?
Every morning.
What song is it?
It's the one that it's Despicable Me. Because I'm happy.
Oh yeah, by Pharrell.
Yeah. Every morning I get up, I turn Google on, and I tell her, okay, Google, play happy. And she plays it, and I dance, and then I start my day.
Oh, I love that song because I'm happy. come along if you wanna. Yeah. A great idea. Okay, let's go to the key ideas. Let's see, I think I'll skip one because we kind of, we pretty much covered that. Number 2. Sandy, can you read that one for us, or are you writing? Read number 2 under key ideas.
Discipline is from the word disciple and is the stuff of accomplishment. In this case, growing in spiritual mastery, your master life rather than it mastering you.
Any comments there?
I'll jump in if I may.
Please.
I'm like you, Reverend Sharon, in that discipline was a hard word for me to come to terms with. What I really do like is the emphasis that we have in Unity about choice and conscious choice. Choosing is when we make conscious choices in an awareness state, we get we get away from all of the unconscious choosing, which really often doesn't serve us very well. And so I like to think of discipline as really exercising that ability to choose in a positive way.
Thank you, Neil. Absolutely. Very helpful. Yes. And an example of it is my puppy, my 9-week-old puppy. Now I'm the parent, right? And I'm trying to discipline my puppy to not chew on stuff that's going to make it sick. And it's a constant effort until the baby gets it. And I think our minds can be like that, for a while. Another idea that comes to mind when I think about discipline and choice. Have any of you ever raised a child? So do you know what I mean by discipline? How do you get a child to go to the bathroom by itself? Do you let it go undisciplined and go anywhere it feels like it? Babies put stuff in their mouth all the time too. I mean, as parents, we can't let them do that. It's the same thing with our minds. Our minds need to be trained and matured and educated, and that's called discipline. I feel like I'm talking too much today. Am I talking too much? I want you to talk. You talk. Oh, okay. Who will read number 3? Oh, thanks, Susie. Betty, you read number 4.
Oh, no, I just wanted to comment on disciple.
Oh.
I was going to say this when we were talking about the disciplined mind and what the meaning of discipline was there. And here it's saying discipline comes from the word disciple. And I was going to say, when we're disciplined, when we are being disciplined, we are a disciple, we are learning. And as we pay attention to what we're learning, we know then what leads to happiness because we can make the choices between our thoughts. So I just felt that they tied together very well too. And I'll read whatever you want me to read whenever you want me to.
Thank you. Oh, I saw your hand go up.
Sharon,
number 4.
Could I add something?
Wait, Sandy had her hand up too. Bill, was that you just talking?
That was Bill.
Yes.
Go with Bill?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Bill.
A while back, when I was with my children on my 80th birthday, one of them reminded me of what I taught them when they were going through school, and I raised 2 boys and 2 girls. And my daughter Maria said, "Dad, I remember when you were telling me when I was in trouble that I was like a new tree in the ground, and you have to guide that tree. And so there's 3 guide wires to the tree." And that's what I was using as a metaphor with them. You can't do this certain thing because it's one of the guide wires that we have to keep on the tree.
Oh,
And she remembered that.
How cool. Isn't that interesting what our kids remember?
Yeah.
We never know, until sometimes they feed it back to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sandy.
I think Also, the part of the disciplined mind is watching for the clues, watching for the little miracles around us and seeing them as miracles and not just everyday occurrences that we get used to and we just go through life not noticing things. It's the disciplined mind has to notice things and
Yes,
be aware of what they mean in your life. So
good, great, very helpful. Can you think of an example, Sandy?
I get them every day. I think sometimes I'm overthinking these things, but I guess one of the ones recently was we were exposed to COVID by a neighbor. We did test positive or negative, but for me, that was a shot over the bow. And it was like, okay, warning, be more careful. Step back a little bit, wear a mask, stay home a little more. I think every little occurrence to me, I go, okay, does that mean anything in my life? And it's not constant, but it's, I'd say every day, a number of things hit me that I say, that was a bump on the head. Because throughout my life, I've pretty much taken the 2x4s to the head. Instead of watching the little signs, I get the 2x4 and then I go, oh yeah. So now in the past, I don't know, 5-10 years, I've really tried to watch the signs and just be a little more.
So I want to ask you or anybody who wants to comment, which powers were you engaging?
Maybe.
You just went on, you muted again, Sandy, unmute.
Understanding?
Yes, absolutely. And one other.
I'd say wisdom.
Wisdom, exactly. So understanding, we get to learn how the universe works, how life works, you know, as you were saying, noticing the miracles. The part of discipline is noticing. And so, but we learn to notice by discipling ourselves to our own life, to be willing to be taught and coached by our own life and what happens in our own life. And that kind of understanding leads to wisdom, so we don't keep making the same mistakes again. So it's not always, oh yeah, now I understand now that I got the 2x4. No, I've had enough 2x4s in that arena of my life. Now I know, and I'm not going to make the same mistake again. Wisdom. Or Bill and his daughter, you know, she got in trouble and he used the metaphor of the tree and teaching and disciplining a tree to grow straight up instead of falling over. And she remembered it. And so obviously it led to some form of wisdom in her mind. Any other comments before we go on to 4?
Sharon, can I make one comment?
I wish you would.
I didn't really make this clear because when we had Thanksgiving, I went around and asked people if they wanted a chart to the people that were in class. And so several people said that they did, and I intended for them to just go ahead and have one of those that I sent. So I can have some more made for you for the bookstore, but anybody who is there today who wants one, will you let them have one? And I'll make some more for the bookstore.
Oh, great, great. Thanks, Eileen.
You're welcome.
Well, let's thank Eileen. Yay. Oh, yeah, this.
Oh, yeah. Send the love.
Thank you, thank you. Was someone wanting to share something there? No. Okay. Betty, would you read number 4 for us, please? Betty? Yeah.
I got it. Number 4. Okay. Committed practice of these 12 divine ideas that have been called powers empowers us to maximize maximize our spiritual potential and our lives, and to being and making the contribution we are meant to make. I have them printed out. It went on 2 pages here.
Okay, any comments there? Committed practice to these 12 divine ideas. It is for me, it is a system for awakening, developing, and maximizing the spiritual power with which we've been endowed. No comments? Happy.
What I was going to say is, it gives you a perspective.
It gives who?
Oh, it gives me a perspective into thinking and doing anything that may be going on around me before I react. Sometimes things are impossible for me to just keep my mouth shut and absorb it. But with understanding the 12 powers, I've come to realize that it's to my own benefit, because I get so frustrated with so many little things, and they're just little things. And when I sit back and start analyzing myself, then I realize I have to just let it go, because I have no control over it. That makes sense?
Of course. Thank you. Yeah. So Maria was talking about how we can or are employing these divine ideas, these spiritual powers on a daily basis regularly. And how she was saying with this study, it empowers her to think before reacting. I wish I thought about that with my puppy when she poops on the living room carpet. Anyway, back to business here. Okay, anything, did we cover number 3 enough? If any of you have a comment on number 3 or 4, share it, please.
Andy
What do
had
you
her
think
hand
about the 4th? We didn't talk about the 4th dimension. Jody, was that you? No.
I had a question on
Eileen.
the 4th one.
Yes.
So with the 12 powers, are there powers that you become blocked in, or that you aren't able to work through that power? And the reason I ask is when I do energy work, we have 7 major chakras. And when I'm working on certain chakras, they can become blocked. They can become shut down. And when I look at the 12 powers, I think, I wonder if we can become blocked in any one of those powers, but not recognize that we're blocked in that power.
Absolutely.
And so then when we're working on the powers, all of a sudden we look at one and we say, whoa, I can't work with that one. I'm struggling with that one. So, and what are the ways in which to unblock those? Or is it just a disciplined mind that says, work on it, but maybe you just can't seem to go there? Do you understand what I'm asking? Or
I do.
Okay.
And I'll give you my take on it. Remember my disclaimer, right? You all know what my disclaimer is, right? What's my disclaimer?
Take what works for you and leave the rest.
That's right. Take what you like and leave the rest. So take what resonates with you, what's helpful. So in terms of Sandy, who is wondering because of her experience in working with energy systems, and she has been taught to use the 7 chakras. We're working with the 12 chakras right here. So she was saying, can any of them be blocked such that, you can't work with them? You don't know what to do next, I guess. What I would say about that is, number one, I think we all have blind spots. And that's what leads to us being hit by a 2x4. And it's an educational process. I mean, is there anyone here today who has not been hit with a 2x4 in their lives? You know what I mean by 2x4? A situation that is so painful, you got to wake up. So I think when an energy, a creative energy, doesn't seem to be supporting us or empowering us, we're not connecting with it, we're not resonating with it. It for me, I would go to, well, maybe there's a blind spot in there. I don't know what I don't know. And the other thought is it needs cleansing. The power needs cleansing. There's a pain in there, a hurt in there that has not been reconciled, that we have not reconciled with. And of course, then that leads to forgiveness, right? Where my mind goes as we talk about that is, and that leads to forgiveness. So for example, did any of you read the book Women Who Love Too Much? Well, apparently you didn't have the same blocked chakra I did. But you've all become familiar, I imagine, with making the same mistake more than once. Have any of you done that? Okay, well, that's when the 2x4 comes. You make that same mistake. And there's a poem about that. Remind me to try to think of it for you. It's something about 5 steps. Anyway, women, for example, or anyone who is in an abusive relationship, who knows how that kind of thinking comes into being, but at any rate, it is there. And so they're in an abusive relationship, and what happens is the love chakra gets blocked, and so does the wisdom chakra. Power centers, creative thinking gets turned upside down, so that you cannot see the reality before you. And the prayer is, let me see what I need to see. Or I'm willing to see what I need to see here in order to be free. So for me, it's all about freedom to maximize in a positive way our creative potential, which is infinite. Infinite. Did that help, Sandy?
Yeah, and I like what stood out for me was willingness.
Absolutely.
Being willing to look at it.
Be willing to change.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to change my mind, or like the Course in Miracles says, be willing to see this differently. And it employs a number of our powers, but one of them is we're engaging then the power of release. Willingness to change requires releasing something. You can't change if you don't release anything, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so it requires a willingness to be changed. Even the mastermind prayer, some of you have done the mastermind prayer, an 8-step process. And there's a step in there which says, I am willing to be changed at death so that my life can be transformed. And some things are hard to even be willing to change. Am I willing to forgive this person? Yeah, well, no, not yet. But at least I'm willing to be willing.
You have to forgive in order to be able to change and move forward.
You do. You have to be able to forgive yourself as well as forgive others.
Because that's what I have to do with my children's father. In order for me to move on, I have to literally, really emphasize forgiveness because I was so stuck and I felt like my whole life was just being consumed into nothingness.
Yeah.
And I felt I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
And finally, I had to just decide one time, forgive and just forgive every single thing that happened, forgive everything that he has ever done, and then move on. That's the only way that I was able to move on.
And it requires a lot of willingness.
Yes.
Because one hurt not addressed leads to another hurt not addressed, leads to another hurt not addressed. And pretty soon you've got a resentment that won't quit. And then you've got a clogged artery. You hear what I'm saying? A clogged artery in your love energy. So forgiveness is essential. And it's, oh, I wish I had it with me. I carry something with me that I got so many years ago that was really helpful. And it goes, there are 3 things, let me see if I can remember, that lead to, let me say, resentment. And one of them is undelivered communication. The second one is thwarted intentions. They didn't understand me. That's not what I meant. You didn't understand me? And now you're angry? What? What's the third? Undelivered communication, thwarted intentions. Kath, are you there? Kathy, are you there?
Yeah, yes,
Would you just quick grab my day timer and bring it?
yes.
See what I mean? I carry it with me all the time just in case I forget. But
Sharon,
that's a
one
good
thing that
discipline.
one thing that someone said to me once that struck a chord was, we judge other people by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, I mean, as we're talking about this, can you see the depth that these powers can take us to? You know, they sound simple at first. Oh yeah, wisdom. Let's see, yellow, it's in my solar plexus area. It's, you know, right decisions. Yeah, but cleansing all of these is the work. Okay, here comes my trusty crack admin. You're bringing
Betsy and Google.
Oh, Betsy and Kugel. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Joe. Oh, gosh, let's hope it's in here, guys. Okay, can you see all this? This is what comes with me every day as reminders. Let me see, where's my one? Dang. Don't tell me you don't have it. Stay with me. I carry my 12 powers too. And I carry the acceptance prayer. And I carry the mastermind. Oh, and I carry this. I'll read this before we close. Remind me. Oh, do I not have it? I can't believe that. Oh, here it is.
She's not.
Tucked deep in my day timer. Undelivered. Oh, here it is. Undelivered communication. Unmet expectations. They should know better. He should know better. I want him to know better. And thwarted intentions. All of those 3 things can lead to resentment, which requires a lot of forgiveness. Once a resentment is deep seated because it hasn't been addressed, it gets to clogged chakras. Okay, let's see. Are we ready to go to the questions? Ready to go? Okay. Sam, are you still there? Sam, Harold, Howard.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
Okay. The first question, share 3 things that you are passionate about. Who's willing to share 3
Well,
things?
this is Howard. I'm passionate about dogs.
You are,
I'm
yes.
passionate about my wife, Susan. And I'm passionate about ice cream.
I love it. I think you told me you were passionate about dogs the first day we met. Okay, who else? 3 things you're passionate about, or 1 thing, but at least think of 3 things.
This is Eileen.
Eileen.
I'm passionate most of the time about cooking when I'm cooking. Sometimes I'm not passionate to cook when I don't feel like it, but when I cook, I'm passionate about cooking. I'm passionate about singing, and I'm passionate about my spiritual life and my journey with Judy.
Yeah. Now, Eileen, are you going to be
Yes.
singing Sunday in the talent show?
I sure am.
Yay!
And
So
I
we
have
all
to
want
tell
to
you-
either be here in church or we're going to live stream it and be online. We've got a great program coming up Sunday. Eileen has courageously stepped forward to share one of her many talents. Let's see, Mort Rikus is going to, who else have we got, Kat? On Sunday, 1 o'clock concert. We've got a taiko drummer coming. You don't want to miss that one. He's renowned. Jim Rasmussen. Jim R. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Eileen. 3 things you're passionate about.
I have to say one other thing. This morning, Judy was in the other room, and I was practicing my song. And she came in and she says, "Who you been talking to?" I said, "I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just practicing my song." She said, "I couldn't figure out who the heck you'd be talking to that long."
Oh. Now thank you, Eileen and Judy. The second part of that question is, I hope all of you have at least thought of 1 thing you're passionate about. I know Jo is sitting here right now and she's passionate about astrology. Am I right? And what? Beading. Making jewelry. Beading, making jewelry, yeah. And so when we're passionate about something, the next question in that one is, what are you doing or have you done to act on what you're passionate about? So Jo does charts, she makes jewelry, that's how she's acting on it. Eileen is passionate about cooking, so she does it. She's passionate about her spiritual journey, so she shows up here and does other things. She comes to church. So it's important to do something we're passionate about. Or Sandy, where are you? Or if we don't, it clogs up our love chakra. Well, it clogs up other chakras too. It can clog up our understanding, our faith, our wisdom, if we're not clear about what we're passionate about and doing something about it. Because we are co-creators with spirit, with God, our understanding of God. And when we took life, at least this is my belief, remember my disclaimer, we came here with infinite potential. And I have come to believe that we came here with purpose that is revealed to us from what we're passionate about, what lights our fire, and also what doesn't light our fire. That's where the cleansing is essential. And so if we are not expressing our creative energy, and I think, parenthetically, let me say, I think part of the depression that we're experiencing out there in our environment, part of the depression and anger is arising from thwarted intentions, let me say, or from not finding avenues, productive avenues for our creative energy. So this is, using our creative energy now when so many of us have to isolate, can't go where we ordinarily go. We can't feed our spirit, for example, with cultural events, with getting together with people we love. That feeds our creative energy. We got to find ways. So that's all I have to say about that. I want to be aware of our time because we have to go decorate for Christmas. Okay, we got a couple more minutes. So let's go on to, anyone want to comment? No? Okay then. Share something courageous that you have done and how passion empowered you to act. Something courageous that you have done. And now, it doesn't have to be something gigantic, remember. We have itsy bitsy fears as well as big fears.
I have something minor.
What's that?
Well, probably kind of giddish, but I just thought something that has helped me through the years. When I was a kid, like most kids, I had a passion. I wanted to learn to ride a bicycle when I was little. And my mother got me a bike. I didn't get to start with the trainer wheels because we lived on a ranch and it's kind of hard trainer wheel and dirt. So my mother went out. She bought me a bike. I was tickled to death. Happy, passionate. I got on it and fell off and began to cry. No, get back on it. I wanted it. I guess, is that the passion? I knew if I learned how to do that, I've seen other kids ride bike. They get to, I'd get back on it, fall off. And I got bruised up pretty good, but my mother kept, and then I thought I hated it. But once I learned to ride that thing, it opened up whole new doors. And I don't mean right then. That's why I remember it now, as small as I was then, because it's helped me through life. That when the old saying, you fall off, you get back on. But the passion was, the desire. I wanted to do that because I wanted to be a part of the world that gets to, take off when I want to on my bike, have fun. And so it was worth a few bumps and bruises, I guess. And so
Great.
that was, but like I say, I think the main point is it's helped me through life to bounce back, kind of, as they say. Hey, I guess goes with a cowboy. I don't know, when you get bucked off, get back on, or I don't know. But it don't matter. The idea, the metaphor is, try again, and don't quit. And I think
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So well said. So now then, as you reflect on Elva's story there about wanting a bike so badly, and his mom finally got him one and he couldn't learn with training wheels. And some of us are just dumped into situations where we have to get it quick, right? We don't get training wheels. So he didn't get training wheels, but he was so passionate about learning to ride this bike, and something in him saw something for himself if he would learn to ride the bike. This need to be a part of something and free. So he fell down, got back up, fell down, got back up. And passion, as he was saying, empowered him to keep getting back on. Inside, I think inside our passion, what we're authentically passionate about is divine purpose. Divine purpose. And the divine purpose is for us to continue to unfold our creative potential, our divine creative potential. And so my question then is, what powers are employed in something like that? What divine powers are we developing, or was Alva developing?
Strength.
Pardon?
Strength.
Strength, for sure. What else?
Faith.
Strength, tenacity, part of strength is an expression of strength. Pardon?
Will.
Faith.
Faith, for sure.
And
Faith.
will.
Resilience.
Well, resilience is what happens for us when all of them are at work. We become resilient,
Will, where is will?
resilient beings. That is, we don't get thrown, like Elva was saying, well, I got back up and got on because I wanted something more than I wanted not to ride this bike because it hurt or because I got hurt.
So would that also be elimination, or because he got rid of the fear?
Rid of the fear.
Pain.
Yeah, I'm going to get hurt again.
And will, the will to get back up and do it.
The willingness, the will. Yes.
And understanding.
Understanding also. Yeah. So did anyone say zeal yet? For sure, zeal. Love, passion is, you know, comes out of love, the power of love. So Alpha was developing a lot of his spiritual power by getting back up and getting on that bike.
So then couldn't we say resilience? Because it seems like he empowered all of them. Susie speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, his imagination as well. Which one did you say, Susie? Susie.
I said, couldn't we say resilience then? Because that encompasses them all, because it seems like they all apply. Don't you think? No?
They all apply. I think so too. I mean, I'm thinking of imagination. We didn't mention that one in the example. Alva had a vision using his imagination, a vision of what would my life be like if I rode a bike, if I could ride a bike.
Mm-hmm.
And as he said, a whole new world opened up and he saw that vision.
Mm-hmm.
See, is there one we didn't mention? No, I think we talked about all of them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody take a deep breath. Thank you all for being so courageous and sharing and stepping forward to share. That is so supportive of your creative energy. And I'm going to just kind of take these next two questions. But I hope all of you have thought about the ways that you have demonstrated courage or your faith throughout your life. And even now, recently, you know. Number 3 is, what does your spiritual fitness program look like, and what is your spiritual discipline? So I just invite you to think about that, especially as we close 2020 here and enter a new year. You know, what perhaps would you like to assure is a part of your spiritual fitness program? So what else do I want to say? Anyone want to say anything about spiritual fitness? Well, here's an example of, or here's something that came up for me today and yesterday for that matter. You know, I have a new puppy, and my first chore in the morning is not what I was here's part of my spiritual fitness program is I pray, I do a 12-hour meditation, I sit in the quiet, and then I journal. And I have 3 prayer books that I pray from. And then I do the 12-hour meditation and empowerment kind of thinking. With my puppy, the first thing I do in the morning is take her out. You follow me? So I'm not pulling my prayer books out right away. The second thing I do is I watch what she's doing so she doesn't do what I don't want her to do on my carpets and floors. And the third thing is I feed her, and then I take her out again. Well, so this morning I'm thinking, geez, when am I going to say my prayers and meditate? And so I went and got my 3 prayer books out. I at least said that. So I said to myself, okay, when I get to church, she's got 2 babysitters here, Kathy and Mac. And I'm going to go sit in the prayer room and do my meditation. What I'm saying to you is so many things can jump in front of our spiritual fitness. And our spiritual fitness, at least this is my conclusion, my spiritual fitness is the most important job I have. Because if I'm not spiritually fit, I'm not as fit as I could be for other people. And my job is to be fit for other people in this world, so that I'm a part of the unification of all mankind and not an impediment to it. And that's all I have to say about that. Anybody else want to make a closing comment before we pray out?
Thank
Betty.
you again for this lovely book and for all of you in this class that we're finishing up today.
Say that again, Eileen.
I said, thank you so much for this wonderful book and for this class that we're finishing up today.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And Betty was going to, thanks, Eileen. And Betty was going to say something.
Well, I think, I don't remember who it was now that was talking about the little miracles that we see every day and pay attention to them. And sometimes when I have a problem and my mind is so busy thinking about how I'm going to solve it myself, I'm putting in too much static. So I don't get the message from the universe that I should be hearing. And this happened one day when I was driving along in my car and I looked at the car in front of me. I'm like, I just knocked myself off the screen here. How did that happen? Well, maybe you can see it anyway. And this is what the license plate said in front of me. K. Sarah.
I love it.
So, which was meaning let go and let God, what will be, will be. And I was so busy in my head that he had to send me a written message. And
Great.
just be aware of those, look for those.
Oh, that's so great, because that's what Sandy was saying, right? Pay attention and notice, you know, the universe is always coaching us. Our life is always coaching us, and so are the circumstances, if we're awake to it. So thank you for coaching me, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Last
Thank you.
7 weeks. Let's, thanks, Bill. Let's pray out. Does anyone feel inclined to do the closing prayer this morning? Okay, then. So let's close our eyes and take a deep breath. Oh, and take your mind for just a minute into your heart. And imagine a great spaciousness there as you take your mind to this love center. A great spaciousness, and as you breathe, the spaciousness expands to hold more love. More divine ideas that are loving. And God, we just give thanks for the love that you are in each of us, expressing now and each day as we go forward. We give thanks for the fruits and the blessings of the understanding of these powers and their work in our lives and our consciousness. We give thanks for the blessings that come as a result of being willing to learn and grow with and inside of these great powers and manifest them in the world. And so we go into our day with a sense of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. We're zealous. Thank you, God. Amen. Thank you all. I love you very much. Have a great day. See ya.